Hello, everyone. Welcome. I'm Jonathan van Clute, of course, for Stock Navigators, and we are going to take a look at today's markets. Actually, I need to open up the correct desktop. Sorry about that. I forgot to open up my analysis desktop. So while that's opening, we had another wild ride today. We are just clearly in that crazy high volatility environment. And just things are all over the place right now. It is a great time, actually, to be a trader. If you are, in fact, a trader and not a buy and hold long-term investor type, those folks are sweating right now. If you are a long-term buy and hold, you're not probably not enjoying these volatility swings a whole heck of a lot. Based on the way today went, I mean, it basically played out exactly as we talked about in the morning, which is that we were not able to get above this descending trend line on the S&P 500. And so everything just kept heading south. We actually did take out the prior lows, but again, our navigator is just continuing to be divergent on the 60-minute. It moved down just a tiny bit more, but still hugely divergent. Each time we make a big thrust down, the navigator is contrary to that and is moving upwards. And each time it's actually peaking up above the zero line just a little bit. So there is still a bullish momentum creeping in. There is buyers in here. Definitely there's a lot of buying going on in here. The big money, the big institutions and so forth are just buying everything because it's on sale. So this is definitely the time to start getting ready, get ready to go long as soon as we get some confirmations. And of course, if you are a day trader and doing intraday, then you have lots of opportunities to get long on a regular basis because you've got all these lovely swings. And we had a really nice one this morning, both directions. We had a nice swing in the morning to the upside, and then we had actually, sorry, this is yesterday. I'm looking at the wrong day. My apologies. Yeah, we had a nice swing to the upside here a little bit later in the morning, about around 8 o'clock. Sorry, 8 o'clock Pacific, that is, so around 11 a.m. Eastern. Everything went pushing to the upside, really quite strong, but nowhere near strong enough to get to that descending trend line. And then it just sold off and gave back a little over half. In fact, I would bet you that's probably about a 61.8 retracement right there. So that's where we're at right now on the short-term 15-minute. We have gone below the zero line on the navigator, but it is the end of the day market close. And it looks to me like there was some profit taking maybe on this run up, just pushing that back down again. So at the moment, we are still in a downtrend. We don't have any kind of bullish confirmation yet, but we know what we're looking at for that. We're looking at a break of this descending trend line here, and also, of course, on longer time frames, daily, weekly, we would like to see some positive confirmation there that the trend has in fact reversed, but we're not there quite yet. So on the crude oil front, oil had an up day today. It actually did break the first of its descending trend lines. So we took out these immediate highs as well. So at the moment, we are looking to push to test these highs up here, this range. So that is what we're keeping an eye on here, is if crude can hold above these highs here, above about this level here or so, and march upwards, then that is the region we're looking to test, is somewhere right in here. So keep an eye on that. At the moment, crude is making higher highs and higher lows, so there is the start of an uptrend happening on a 60-minute time frame. And on the intraday, of course, there's plenty of movement on the intraday. So if you were a day trader in crude today, you hopefully got on the long side and had a really nice little run up. So this was a good day to be a bull in crude. And of course, if it takes out these lows down here, that's what we're looking at for the bear side. So if you see that, if it starts to turn around and give back and take out these lows, then it's heading lower, and you'll want to look at the buy zones below to see what is going to what's going to test. Good old gold. Well, actually, gold had an interesting day today. It had quite a bit of swinging going on. So volatility is not limited to just the S&P and the major markets, gold is possible to be volatile as well. So today we saw some of that. We got a lot of gyrations going on in gold. We had a big move up, big move down, gave it all back, and ended just kind of nowhere, just sort of right where it started, more or less. So interesting, but gold is in an uptrend. I mean, we definitely are still trending up, although we broke this uptrend line. But now we have basically a different uptrend. Now we have this one here, something like about that or so, somewhere around there. So gold is still trending up. No big shock, I suppose, since the market is still having a hard time getting any traction to the upside. So gold is traditionally where people go for that sort of situation. And at the moment, it is bullish, but it's got a hard time getting over sort of this region here. We can see it's tried 1, 2, 3 times to get up there, and it just doesn't hold all 3 times. Today was the biggest thrust of all, and still was just not able to really do it. Oops, I got to turn off my pen there. If we take a closer look here, also, we can see that the Navigator is bearishly divergent. We have an actual formal bearish divergence here where we dip below the 0 line. And we made a big thrust up in price, but Navigator did not go anywhere near as high. So at the moment, we have a very short-term 15-minute bearish divergence on the Navigator for gold. On the longer-term horizon, the 60-minute, the Navigator, is also divergent. It is trending downwards. There is no doubt about that. The Navigator is moving down and gold is moving up. So that is a classic divergence, and that is a bearish divergence, not a good sign potentially for gold. So keep an eye on that. If you're a gold bug, you're going to want to watch out for a break of like this range here below these lows. And at that point, it's going to probably retest down here. That would also have to most likely mean that the market has gotten back on its feet. And so that'll be some additional confirmation you're going to want to keep an eye out for, is for the market to be turning around and heading to the upside. And today, actually, just for fun, we're going to go ahead and throw Bitcoin into the mix and keep an eye on the cryptoverse, as it were, and just see kind of what's going on in the alternative investment that is Bitcoin. Bitcoin on a 60-minute basis has been just going sideways, really, for a while now. It is not really getting any traction, but not really collapsing either. There are a considerable amount of buyers down here at this level around the 6,000, 6,100 range. There's a lot of buyers down there, and it seems that every time Bitcoin dips down there, they come swooping in. So right now, in the much shorter time frame, for just the last few days, though, I mean, look at this narrow range it's trapped in. It is just bouncing around, just going from about 63.60 to about 64, maybe 64.60, basically $100 trading range, just bouncing around in there and looking to see what's going to happen. The Navigator is trending downwards, so Navigator's getting weak. That's not a good sign. A little bit concerned about that, and want to really keep an eye out for these lows here to get broken, because if that happens in any kind of decisive fashion and buyers don't just bring it back up again, then we're going to be looking to retest down here, these lows. And of course, if those don't hold, then we're looking to retest even lower. To the upside, of course, we got to break this upwards resistance line here, this channel that's just keeping the price trapped in there. But there is clearly some serious selling going on up here. We have actually a formal sell zone, which is from quite a while back. It's from actually way back. I think it's actually not even on this chart. It's too far back. So it is from a long time ago, but it has been acting as continual buying or selling activity, depending on which side of the fence you're on. So it is really doing a job of keeping. Actually, no. So you know what? It's based on right here. My apologies. I was thinking of a different zone. So it's right here, and this area here is acting right now as resistance. So it is just, you can see the sellers just came in force as soon as price got up there. They just slammed it down, and very, very, very quickly, I might add. So that's an area to watch out for. For real bullish traction, Bitcoin's got to get up past that sell zone to have any kind of real potential for going significantly higher and trying to challenge, certainly the old record highs of near 20,000. If you are into the day trading thing and you're trying to day trade crypto, you're stuck in that range, as I said. But I mean, it is $100 range, so there is room to play in there for sure. We also, it's easier to see on the smaller time frame. We have a bit of a wedge forming. It's very slow, very, very, very gentle wedge, but you can see it. It is definitely there. And eventually, anyway, that wedge is going to squeeze down. And when that happens, price is probably going to pop one direction or the other, and this might start to move. So keep an eye on that wedge. Just keep a watch on it. And if you're playing the range, of course, that means that your range is getting smaller and smaller as well as time goes on. So just gotta be a little wary of that. But for the time being, anyway, if you're a buyer of Bitcoin in the 2390, 2380, 2390 range, and you're a seller of it maybe in the 23. What did I just say? Sorry about that. 6390. I don't know where I got 23. Anyway, 6390 range. And if you're a seller of it in, say the 6430 range, something like that, you've got, a little bit of room to play with, and you can just sort of keep buying and selling and buying and selling. And that has worked for a little while now. So it may continue to work for a while longer yet. We'll just have to give it time to play out, but just be aware that it is going sideways and eventually it's going to probably move. So be careful. If it moves against you, just make sure you adhere to your stops and get yourself out quickly while your loss is still small. So that is our market activity for today. It's going to be interesting to see what shapes up next week. Obviously, this is Friday, so markets are closed and won't open again. The futures markets will open Sunday evening, and the rest of the main markets will open Monday morning. So will we get a continued sell-off on Monday? Are we going to just fall off the cliff like a lot of the media seems to think we're going to do? Or are we going to see a bounce, a significant recovery happen out of this because we're so far down and buyers are finally going to swoop in? If one last thing before I sign off here, if we go to a daily time frame and we take a look back, we can see that we are flirting with these lows here. We're actually, the first one is this low here. We're flirting with that. Let me get my pen out here. There we go. So we're initially flirting with this low here. But if that gets taken out, then this is pretty significant. And now if that gets taken out, the kind of last hope of the market not completely falling apart is right there. If that is broken, if that buy zone, the buy zone those tails are in, you can see the blue lines here. If that fails, then all bets are off, and things are going to get very, very ugly very quickly. But nobody can say for certain what's going to happen one way or the other. But those are the levels you want to watch for. So keep an eye on the buy zones, the buy zone here and the buy zone here. Those are what you're looking to hold. If you want to be bullish, you see a bounce off those buy zones. That's when you think about getting long, and you've got a relatively low risk entry with quite a bit of profit potential, because at a minimum you're looking to test back up in the sell zone again once it bounces up. So keep an eye on those levels. That is it for me for now. I hope you all have a great weekend. I hope everybody had a good week of trading, and I look forward to talking with you some more again next week. Have a great weekend, everybody. Take care.